struggling.
I'm still a student of the university. According to the system of the university, my second submission, of draft submission, is the 31 of August. I have it on paper. I just received it in the 15th of July morning from the... now, you've sent me the rules and regulation. I've already been to the OIA and won one time against this university twice. And indeed, we're going to go back to the OIA and we're going to talk a lot, everywhere, about everything. You're going to hear from me a lot the next year, all of you. I'm going to make it very, very vivid.
No,
What do you think, that after 12, 13 years that I'm doing it, I will just say, okay, yes, and fade out? What do you think? When you know me, you claim you know me for 2 years, after putting so much effort into it, having documentation of all of you encouraging me to keep on working, also after I said what I said, keep on working, and now sending me this ridiculous decision, and you think that I'll say, okay, you are not the teacher, you are not the supervisor, whatever you are, you said that I'm not good enough to continue without reading it even. And you think it's going to stand in the OIA, and you think it's going to stand in court. You live in a dream. Goodbye conversation. You're going to hear from me a lot, all of you.
I think you have a right to challenge that offer.
I will.
I would
challenge
you to challenge that. It's not a. I think that's quite right. If you feel there's an anomaly there, you have a right to challenge that. And you're right, I would expect you to challenge it, because I would do it if I was in your position. But that's not the point, really. We're still left in a position where our contract to supervise you has been terminated.
I need to know, what do you think about my text?
The future text, you mean? The text that...
The text that I sent you, part 1 and part 2, and I'm going to send part 3 for the both of you.
We've tried to find some criteria to read this against, but you haven't got an agreement with the university for that process. And I don't know how to read this and comment on it. I just don't know how to, I don't know the context or the criteria by which we can make a judgment on that offer.
I can send it to you.
It's a different project, it's a different way of working, and we have no criteria agreed with the university by which we can read and comment on that.
I can send it to you. It's the
I would like to be engaged with this with you, but this is not. There is no criteria and context for us to do this.
Steven, I send you. You send me the handbook of the rules of regulation of the practitioner doctorate. Inside of it, there is the QAA regulation. I read them all. Everything is written there. Everything I did is by the book.
Not everything is written there. Beyond that, you need a proposal and an agreement with the university.
I have this too. I have this too. I have this too. I have this too in text.
The criteria by which thesis will be judged.
I have.
That hasn't been agreed with the university offer.
We'll see for that.
We don't work in a decontextualized way with research proposals. We work within sets of criteria and boundaries of research proposals.
There is no
criteria by which we can read them and offer a critique.
Okay, so answer for me.
But we don't have them.
Answer for me one question. One question. Okay? How can I write dissertation in 9 chapters when chapter 3, methodology chapter and finding chapter is identical?
I don't know. This is an argument. I don't know.
This is an argument. This is sending me into dead-end road and bringing in new epistemology into the university as the practitioner doctorate supposed to do is impossible in this way. No way you can bring in new epistemology if you need to write it in epistemology chapter in advance when this is the outcome and the results. You saw it. You saw this problem. Actually, I I got the understanding from something you said. You know that? You're asking me where it's going to be. In the outcomes, in the methodology chapter, where it's going to be. What you wrote. And you're right. It's not possible. Now, if indeed the practitioner doctorate is meant to bring in new knowledge and new epistemology into the academy, there is no way to do it in the way the university demanded for me to do it. And I already won one time against them, and I will win again. It won't be an academic...
Shouting at me.
Sorry, I'll take down the volume, sorry. It won't be an academic debate because allegedly you have an academic monopoly, but you don't have monopoly on rules and regulations. Rules and regulations are to be judged, and I can tell you something, that whenever an academic freedom is deemed, rules and regulations are being breached, and I'm expert in it. And tell the people that, you know, terminate your project, that they're going to hear from me, and they're going to learn a little bit English and how to interpret rules and regulations. I can assure you that.
I think you have every right to challenge the regulations of that. I'm not arguing against that. I think that's perfectly legitimate to do that.
I'm not just...
I expect that to happen within the academy. That doesn't concern me.
Where is your position?
I think you have a perfect right to challenge those regulations.
What are you going to do about it?
We have our own debates within the academy about the regulations.
What are you going to do about it? You think that everything that is done with me is okay?
We've done what we've done about it. We've actually put forward your arguments to the university. We've ensured there's a communication stream from you to the university, and you've been informed of the decision they've made about that, and have been informed about the appeals procedure. So there is a way forward for you with this.
But at the same time, it was written that you don't support the future registration.
Because on those milestones that you
not on those milestones.
That milestone was not met.
You see, thematic analysis is something that can be done on every text. And it's going to be made on our text. And you will see how it's going to be written to me, how it was communicated with me. Everything is going to happen, open up between me and the university, and everybody is involved. Every name on the line, including Dennis Hayes, who is sitting in the CRC, and I know exactly why he thinks the way he thinks, I'm going to meet him. I'm going to meet all of them. You know why? They have to, when I make an administrative complaint, there has to be a hearing. This time I'm going to come to England. I'm going to be in the university and tell them in the face what I think about them. All of them, together. Tell them this, that if they're going to see me anyway. They didn't want to see me in my good side, they will see me in my bad side, no problem. I offer them a goodwill.
Don't shout at me, Arthur, please. Don't shout at me.
My message is delivered.
You know, it's 13 years of investment, of, you know, emotional, financial, on every level effort. You know, it's been terminated with one letter without, you know, the rules and regulations says also that before termination, he has to be invited to an interview which explains him the reasons that they're going to be terminated. And that wasn't done either. You know, they send him a letter that terminates 13 years.
Items into your appeal. I think if you've identified aspects that you think the process has been breached, then you can take that into your appeal.
You know, the university has been for years doing, you know, looking at what we are not doing, but not looking at what they're not missing and what they part on their side. You know, the request is from the student, but no responsibility from the university side. And that's disturbing, and that's even more disturbing, you know, because I have one more year left, and I'm anxious, you know, and I have reasons to be, while working another year after such a, you know, traumatic event.
Mhm.
And without still, you know, milestones are technicality. It's technical reason, milestones, but the content and the, you know, the real thing was not discussed yet. Even, you know, we don't even know what you think about
We
it.
don't know and that.
About what you think about the final, you know, result of it, the final text.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we don't.
okay.
We only speak about technical things as if there's no, you know, content things in this. Also, the CRC, you know, termination is. It's not a termination of a project that's been, you know, done for 2 weeks. It's a 13 years of involvement, investment, personal, professional, in all ways, you know, touching every level of the life we have.
We have 50 students that knows from this story. It will be public here in England. I will make it a public story. Everybody is going to be famous. There is no bad publicity. It's okay. Everybody is going to be famous.
And nobody still speaks about the content, you know. So that's very, very, very disturbing.
They didn't even sign over the paper. They just send it from the research student office, whatever it is. Nobody dare to sign it. I want to know who signed it. Who sat there in the committee? Who are the people who are involved? Who sat there in the committee?
I didn't hear that also, sorry.
I ask who were the people that took part in the CRC meeting?
I don't know, Offer. Don't know. Don't know.
PhD manager has the names.
Okay.
So nobody still speak about the work. You know.
Nobody. And you won't say nothing about my work either.
Say that again?
And you are not going to say nothing about my work either.
No, I can't hear you, Offer.
I said you are not going to say anything about my work either.
You mean the work the work subsequent to the draft thesis? You mean
Yes.
subsequently?
Yes.
There isn't anything we can say without a context in which to read this and critique it, which we haven't got. There is nothing we can say on her.
The context is written within it.
No, I mean the context is also what the CRC, how the CRC would construct the criteria for the proposal and how we might actually consider the work as a broad piece of work. And we haven't got those criteria that have been set for us that we would work to as supervisors with you.
You know,
There are no agreed criteria for us to work with you on.
You know, Professor Brindley
on the end of the milestones.
Professor Brindley have sent us her decision in 2017, before we met you, that the offer can submit at 20,000 words, theoretical words accompanying website. And that's what it is.
I've seen that letter, but that isn't a set of criteria. That's a broad statement about what somebody thought was permissible at the time. But we've only just recently seen that, and that isn't a set of criteria. We still don't know what the position was around that. So we can't. There is nothing we can say about that.
But such works are being you know, being tested and examined. There is a PhD by creative work, MD by practical doctorate by creative work existing in the university with the criteria for its assessment.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. We've discussed this with you before.
Yeah.
And that requires a proposal and a set of agreed criteria for those components of the work.
We'll see for that, okay. You have something to say also? Nick? You have something to say, Nick?
No, not that would overly expand on what Steve has said. I mean, I would definitely say, on a personal level, how sorry I am that this is where we've arrived. I've enjoyed working with you. I like you, and I'm really sorry it's come to this. equally also that, you know, like Steve says, you are perfectly within your rights, challenge and appeal, etc. And nobody will be surprised or opposing you in choosing to follow that path. We've been terminated. You know, in other words, our job has been ended for us, if you like, or it's just simply been terminated. So we're no longer employed in this capacity. This phone call, if you like, is something, you know, it's as much personal as professional. And I don't think I could really add anything to that that's not already been said.
Let's see.
Except to say I'm also sorry.
You know, on a personal level, you do understand it doesn't make any sense that anyone can really contain after 13 years termination, like in one day.
I've told you that I'm changing the way I'm writing it, because the way you were asking of 9 chapters is not possible. Without considering this fact, you just terminate my studies and you think that this is it. Tell them that everything that happens last time, okay, is gonna happen, plus everybody will hear. About all of us, all this story will be very famous. The things, the way you think you can behave to me like this after 13 years, to do to me something like this, and I will just, amazing. It's like they are asking me to do it. It's amazing. It's like they are asking me to do it. Even the way that they are doing it.
You know, there's no, it's an academic issue. You know, the change at the last moment has an academic justification. It's not, it's something that is really needs to be discussed, and nobody discussed in academy.
Just termination. And you think that this is going to go like this quietly.
Dismissing the academic content, because it's an academic
You won't be
debate.
able in Derby to make doctorates, in practitioner doctorates, if you're kicking me outside like this. I'm going to make it in all the world. I will make a big risk sign against this establishment.
The appeals process is designed to consider the points you're raising, and that I think that's really important. And those points can be put forward in the appeal, and I would expect them to be listened to. I think that's the engagement in the dialogue that you're expecting, and I think that is the context for that dialogue to take place.
Because the change has its reasons, and there are academic reasons. There's not just some request upon nothing, you know, and nobody considered that.
I think that's an argument that can be put forward within the appeals process. It's a you know, it has weight to it, so you can put that forward, and I would expect dialogue with the university over that.
Yeah, but as we know, university is not engaging in dialogue. Like, they did not engage if they would give him an interview, as he is eligibly has to receive, you know, before termination letter. Okay, if they would give him that opportunity, all of this would be said, you know, all of this procedure, because it's an academic discussion, and before we had the same issues when the university just terminates or does anything, something like that, and then we thought that the appeal, you know, would bring the dialogue that you're just now saying, as if this is what's supposed to be happening. But we know, you know, how this university works, and from our experience, after we are appealing, the next thing we get is another letter with nobody to talk to. The only time we got a live conversation with a person was at the mediation point after 4 years of emailing with the university, and after 3 minutes of speaking with the appointed doctor that was supposed to be representative, he gave us what he what we were supposed to be receiving 5 years before.
Not just
you know?
they make us break in the meeting for 1.5 hour. They were
It was half an
considering
hour.
it, and they came back to tell us that they agree, and everything is record.
5 years.
On record.
It took us 5 years of written communication
problem.
before we got a dialogue, which brought us. If this would happen 4 years before, we haven't been meeting with you now. You know, because this justification are really clear. You know, they just had to be presented, and this is not being given. And now, thinking about 4 years till the next dialogue, after 13 years of his work, you know, it's a problem. It's a problem on many levels. You know, they cannot dismiss the 13 years of struggle and work and all the, you know, for two people. Because while he's involved with that, I work and I can't work because I have physical problems now and I have to finish mine. You know, it's very problematic for many people. It's not just offer as an individual, you know, person that has nothing to do, because we have school here, we have students. It affects many levels. And the way they behave with it is just not making any sense, not personally and even more striking academically. If the academy won't engage in a conversation before asking why do you change the framework, they didn't ask for the reason for the change. Maybe it wasn't not clear enough, I don't know. Maybe they didn't comprehend the whole thing through the letter, I don't know. But somebody had to ask before making a decision. Otherwise, it has no explanation other than just, you know.
They will explain it in conf.